The apocalypse survivors were trapped on the rooftop. Below them, countless zombies swarmed. The only way out was to get through the horde and reach the truck in the distance. But how to navigate through the sea of zombies was the biggest problem. Rick led the group in a quick dash out of the building. They picked up a corpse and quickly retreated. This was Rick's plan. Chop up the corpse and smear its remains on themselves to mask their human scent before heading to the truck. Rick walked confidently to the corpse while the other survivors looked at each other in disbelief. Were they really going to do this? Without saying a word, Rick showed them through his actions. The scene became increasingly grotesque, but this was Rick's survival strategy in the apocalypse. He wasn't bound by conventional morals. He chose the most effective way to solve problems. Next came the more gruesome part. They had to spread the corpse's flesh evenly on their bodies. As a former cop, Rick had a strong psychological resilience, but Glenn couldn't handle it and vomited immediately. Unsure if the method would deceive the zombies, Rick only took Glenn with him. Later, Rick explained that the reason was because this young Asian guy always made him feel the safest. After tossing the handcuff key to T-Dog to free Merle, Rick and Glenn armed themselves and exited the building. They mimicked the zombies' stiff movements. Ahead of them were 2 zombies. If the plan failed, they would have to take them out immediately. Luckily, the zombies mistook them for their own and didn't attack. The method was working. Rick smiled slightly and the 2 of them prepared to move through the vehicles to the street. Outside, the number of zombies was overwhelming. They couldn't afford to be careless and moved forward step by step. The short 50 meters felt like an eternity. Suddenly, a female zombie was drawn to Glenn's pale face. It seemed he wasn't convincing enough. Glenn intensified his act to blend in better. Meanwhile, the other survivors on the rooftop were closely monitoring the street. Everything seemed to be going smoothly until it started to rain. A light drizzle quickly turned into a downpour, washing away the corpse smell from Rick and Glenn. Some zombies began to notice something was wrong and started converging on them. Glenn suggested they run, but Rick, trying to stay calm, told him to hold steady. Just then, a zombie lunged at Rick. They fought and killed zombies as they ran through the streets, with the rooftop survivors silently cheering them on. They managed to climb over a fence, exhausted but determined. Without a word, Rick raised his gun to shoot any approaching zombies while Glenn searched for the truck keys. Working seamlessly together, they got into the truck. But now, even a bomb couldn't stop the zombies from charging towards the truck. They had no choice but to retreat for now. The rooftop survivors feared Rick had abandoned them and prayed for his return. Inside the truck, Rick calmly planned the next steps. He told Glenn to create noise to draw the zombies away, then informed the survivors to meet at the building's roll-up door facing the street.
Those roll-up doors at the front of the store facing the street. Meet us there and be ready.
Hearing Glenn's message, the rooftop survivors sprinted downstairs. Merle, still handcuffed, desperately begged them not to leave him behind. Despite being beaten by Merle earlier, T-Dog's conscience wavered. He hurried to unlock Merle's cuffs, but an unexpected event occurred, forcing T-Dog to abandon him.
You did that on purpose! I didn't mean to! You did it on purpose! I'm not kidding! Don't leave me, man! Don't leave me! Don't leave me! I'm sorry! You liar! I'm sorry! Don't leave me!
Before leaving, T-Dog locked the rooftop door to temporarily hold off the zombies if they entered the building. Meanwhile, everything downstairs went according to plan. To attract as many zombies as possible, Glenn even drove the car right up to the zombies. Enraged, the zombies swarmed towards Glenn. At the right moment, Rick drove the truck to the front door and rescued everyone just in time. However, Merle wasn't so lucky, left struggling alone on the rooftop.